Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to The Lock Shop, presented by Play Alberta, right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Matt Iwanyk with you here. I think I said that, didn't I? I believe I did. No Dusty, no Huss. Maybe I didn't. I don't know anymore what I'm saying. We've got an hour here for The Lock Shop. Sometimes honestly, Trevor's laughing. I actually forget whether I say my name or not at certain points.
I don't think you did, so you're good.
Okay, perfect. Well, then I did something for no reason. So that just makes it even more awkward. Thank you to everyone for listening live at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, Apple Music. For those watching on YouTube or anyone listening to this on podcast. Today on the show, Justin Dunk of 3 Down Nation. He's going to join us at about 11:25. So in about 23 minutes time, we will look at the 3 matchups of Week 6 as it starts tonight. Friday Night Football. Dusty on the call as the Riders are home to the Stampeders. Coming up tomorrow, it is the Ticats and the Red Blacks, and then on Sunday it is your Edmonton Elks taking on the BC Lions at Commonwealth Stadium. The promo codes for the month of July: EST Sports. When you use deposit 20 or more, you'll get a $50 free sports bet, or use YEG50 when you deposit 5 or more for a $50 free sports bet. Lots already up in the EST specials page. We'll have to build something for today. I know Dustin Nielson's throwing something out there, so maybe we'll build something when it comes to the Elks. Dusty's CFL teaser is still up. You have till game time tonight between the Stamps and the Riders to get in on this one. Well, actually, you have till 7 o'clock tonight, so just before kickoff. The Stamps plus 11.5. The Stamps and Riders being under 57.5 points. The Ticats plus 1.5. Hamilton, Ottawa over 47.5 points. The Elks plus 10.5. And Edmonton, BC over 44.5 points. That is plus 600. There's the 4 Alberta parlay. That is the Stamps plus 6.5. The Elks to win straight up on the money line. And Vegan, the winner of the aggregated Chuck Wagons, boosted to plus 600. Jay's not around, so I can't confirm the word. Is it vegan? Okay, it's vegan. Trev notes his Chuck Wagons, apparently. Do you actually know your Chuck Wagons?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I'm crazy dialed in, but I've never missed one. Like I was every year, it's kind of tradition. I'd always watch it. Yeah, I'd always watch it with Grandma and Grandpa back home. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Every Stampede. I don't know. I can't tell you who the favorites are, but I was tuning in yesterday, Reed Wilkins show, and Jay was saying vegan. He liked vegan, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Vegan. It's like, first for me.
I learned listening to their show a couple days ago. Yeah, it was Wednesday that they're about the tarp auction that there is.
Yeah.
The big auctioning of the tarps for the Stampede. And I was fascinated by that story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So yeah, it's always every year it's tradition for me. I always have to watch it. I was watching it last night at a bar, actually. So it was good.
Nice. The early bird bet from the morning show yesterday had the Saskatchewan Roughriders to win, the Hamilton Tiger Cats to win, in the Edmonton BC game, 50 plus points. That's plus 272. The Lock Shop parlay that Dusty and I built on the Lock Shop yesterday, Dedrick Mills anytimes touchdown, Bo Levi Mitchell and Nathan were both passing for 2+ TDs in their respective games. That's plus 335. And then Jay and Matt's big play of the game. It hit last week for the Elks game. Built one out. Texted with Jay a little bit on this one yesterday. I decided for the Elks game to go outright and go, you want to know something? Let's go a little big on this one. The Elks to beat the BC Lions. The Elks to score 28 points or more. Justin Rankin, anytime touchdown. Stephen Dunbar, 3+ catches. That's boosted to plus 580. If you want to get in on any of those, click on EST Specials. I know Dusty, he's talked about this in the past a little bit, but he brought it up on the Lock Shop when I was on with him yesterday as well, that the Play Alberta, they're working on it. Hopefully they get it this year, if not next year, for CFL player props that you can bet right at playalberta.ca. But if there's things that you like, we could try to build something and ask them throw it up, because through our parlays we can get those props up there. Dustin Nielson going, Maddie, can you get Rush Elks over 110 rushing yards? I also like Trey running the ball more this week because of the league injury. Trey could have more runs this weekend and can rank in. Here's the one thing I will say on the Edmonton Elks when it comes to the rushing is the injury report for day 2 yesterday for the Edmonton Elks. Javon Leake was limited in practice yesterday. He did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited today or yesterday. We'll see what happens today, but it isn't looking like they're still looking like that Javon Leake might still play on Sunday. Wouldn't be ruling him out just yet. We will have the game status officially from the 3 days of the injury report coming in a couple of hours. So I'm not ready yet to say anything in terms of he's not going to be there. I do think we will see Trey run the ball a little bit more than we saw the last couple of weeks. I think, as Dave Naylor's the analogy he used during the morning show was that, they put the driver in the bag or taking it out of the bag for Trey Ford. And he's a guy that can hit the driver very well. So I think at some point they got to let him be a little bit more mobile. But when you're coming to that bet, Dawson, are you just looking straight up as a team rushing over 110 yards overall? The team rushing yards. If we will look at the CFL, let's see what the Edmonton Elks have done this year rushing the ball. They have averaged this season 117 yards rushing, 468 total rushing yards on 80 attempts. They actually have the league best average yards gained per rush at 5.9. So they're 7th in the league in terms of rushing attempts, 4th in terms of rushing yards, and 1st in terms of yards gained on those rushes. But I think we could try to, I don't know, what if we tried building something today? We have all show to build this out. But if you're looking at, an Elks, could you do something Elks team rushing over 110 yards? Plus, take them on the spread. Maybe not the money line, but maybe look at the spread for this one. El Presidente, for yards, that's low to me, it seems, in terms of total rush. In terms of total rushing, I'm assuming you're talking about the 110. Let's take a look what the Edmonton Elks have done the last 3 games. I want to take away the first game because I think that's kind of skewed things for the Edmonton Elks this year. Against Ottawa last week, the team rushed for 140 yards. Week 4, against Winnipeg, the Edmonton Elks rushed for 93 yards. And week 3 against Montreal, the Edmonton Elks rushed for 148 yards. I think what about maybe 115 would be a good number? 110's not bad either. That's total team rushing. If you average those 3 games, that's 127. Did you bring that up to maybe 115 or 120? $115. Let's say if we're trying to build a lock shop parlor today, and let's say we keep it to the Elks, 115 rushing yards. Elks plus 2.5. If you're throwing that into a parlay, I think that word averages out. Maybe there's something else we can think of throughout the rest of the show that we could add into that. But maybe right now, as we're starting the show, we're looking at an Elks parlay for today, 115 plus total team rushing yards, and the Elks plus 2.5. Big Uke saying split the difference, 12.5 rushing yards. Okay, fine. 112.5. Okay. Elks plus 2.5. Let's see what else we could maybe possibly add into this. If we're looking at the lines for Week 6 in the Canadian Football League, Riders still 5.5 point favorites in this one. The over/under is at 53 for that one tonight. Is straight up on the money line. The Stampeders plus 169. That was my Play Alberta early bird bet on the morning show today. There's just, when you see that plus money and you see a team that just beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, it does feel like good value possibly. And I don't think it's fully disrespecting the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I just think it's given respect to the defense and what we've seen so far from the Calgary Stampeders. You've got the Red Blacks and the Ticats. That is now still at -5.5 for the Ticats. Over under 55. Red Blacks plus 164. That's the wild part to me on this one. That you have the Stamps on the money line. Now it's 5-point difference. But the Stamps are now more of a underdog than the Red Blacks are against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Stamps, who only have one loss this season, now was to Ottawa, but there was the weather game in that one. But you have the Stamps who've coming off a big win against Winnipeg, a big Stampede Bowl win, and they're plus 169 while the Red Blacks are plus 164. Now, I could speak out of both sides of my mouth with this one right now and talk about how there's just something about that Ticats Red Blacks game that scares me. But it's not a I think Ottawa's going to catch the Hamilton Tiger Cats as much as I think the Ticats just don't look strong, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think the Stamps and Roughriders are just going to have a good football game. Edmonton, BC, should just be a fun game. -2.5. The Lions are favorites. Over under 51.5 points. Something we'll have to get to with Justin Dunk in that game. Like, how does he view this in terms of relating it to the week 1 matchup? Does he agree with, I think, a lot of assessments out there that, I don't think this is up for debate. The Elks have improved since week 1. They have gotten better week in and week out since week 1. I don't think anyone can sit here and say the BC Lions have gotten better since week 1. But are they the same? Or have they regressed? And I'll get Justin Dunk's opinions on that in about 10 minutes' time here on the Lock Shop. I was actually just thinking, just reading some of these comments in the Nasty Chat. I just saw field, and then I thought of field goals. If we add a field goal play into this, if we can. If we got Elks plus 2.5, and we got 112.5 rushing yards. Do we add like 2 field goals for the Edmonton Elks? Big U, over 3.5 field goals or Edmonton kicking points. What does that mean? I'm confused by that one. Big U, like when you say kicking points. Are you 3.5 points overall? Because 3.5 field goals is, or are you talking about in the game? I'm going to need some clarification on what you're saying there, Big Uke, on that one. But yeah, Matt and the Garrison absolutely need field goals. Maverick, field goal prop would be good. Let's find a way to add a field goal prop into this one. Let's add a field goal prop into this one. And then I think we've locked in our Lock Shop partner parlay, or Lock Shop parlay for the day. 3.5 for the game. So we're talking overall for both teams. Between Sean White and the Edmonton Elks. Or like 7.5 from the Edmonton kicker. I see. So total, I see where that's coming from. So either we go with total team game, which is 3.5 field goals, or we say the Elks, they get 7.5 points from a kicker, which would involve the Rouge, would involve, that's on punts too. I like the 3.5. You want to know something? Sean White coming to town. He's a good kicker. I like this. I'm going to see if we can add over 3.5 field goals for this game. So there we go. I'm going to send that in right now to see if we get it up by the time the show ends. Okay. Now you're going to have to allow me to do this on the fly. And when I do this on the fly, I speak it out as I type it in. So we're going to try this for a partner, Lock Shop parlay. For today, if possible. Again, I read as I speak as I type. Okay, so we want the Edmonton Elks 112.5 over. 112.5 team rushing yards. We want the Elks plus 2.5 and over 3.5 field goals in the game combined. Lions, Elks. We'll see. Let's see what Play Alberta says. Duck Dad, he's got a Canadian Premier League parlay. Ooh. Plus 540. York and Calgary three-way winner. Wanderers draw, double chance. Forge Atletico, BTTS. I don't know what BTTS is. Why am I? I'll look this one up quickly. Both teams to score. Okay. Both teams to score. So York and Calgary, three-way winners. Wanderers / draw, double chance. Forge Atletico, both teams to score plus 540. I respect your love of the Canadian Premier League, Duck Dad. I respect you following along. I wish I had more to say on the Canadian Premier League, but ever since FC Edmonton left, I haven't gotten into the CPL as much. It still hurts. It still hurts me. And the fact that Calgary won last year pisses me off even more because screw Calgary. But I love your love of the CPL, and I do hope the CPL continues and it keeps growing because we need a good soccer league in this country. Maybe one day it could come here to the city of Edmonton. So yeah, there's part of week 6 for the Edmonton Elks. We're going to see. They haven't told me that they're looking into this yet. I'm very fascinated because we still haven't. Has there been a field goal one for the CFL this season across anything we've done with EST? I don't know if we've had. So I really hope that we can add that one because it'd be a lot of fun. And if you want to go back to just the history of this, week 1, look, we know that Blanchard missed his kicks, but he had 2 opportunities. And Sean White made his 1. So we would have still come up a little bit short. But I don't know. Give us some value. And I don't know, with the way BC, like, the Elks defense can't give up 61% on second down conversions for second and longs again. They will, at the very least, have to force BC to settle for a field goal, another field goal or 2 in this game. So, I think 3.5 is a good play. Well, they're on it. They're on it, people. They are on it. We will keep it on track to see if they could get this done. I'm very hopeful. I wonder if they've added. Actually, I should always just keep checking this. If Ike Howard has been added to the Calder, I should just keep an eye on this every day.
Tell me.
Matthew Savoy is still there, plus 3,000.
He's going to get added.
He's still not added.
He will.
He's still not added.
He will be.
Unless I'm missing it. I am not missing it. You had him top 3. I thought, like, is it like a top 3 favorite or something? I think that's what Dusty said yesterday, which I agreed with you.
Who's that, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I know it's not really a popular opinion in the studio.
I think from a betting perspective, there's a ceiling of it.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of time and day for that conversation.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where the way I look at it, it's one of those with who you're playing with.
Mm-hmm.
If it works.
I mean, we've seen it before. Like I've said it a lot. A lot of Calder Trophy winners, that have just come up, and they might not be the favorite, but it's who they play with. A lot of it is who they play with, and I always say Panarin. Without Patty Kane, is he going to do it? I don't know. And especially Jeff Skinner in his rookie year, playing with Eric Stahl, that certainly helped his case. And so I have him slotted top 6. People know this. I like his chances.
We'll wait to see what the betting system has. I'll be fascinated to see when and if he gets added, where he slots in, because if I had to guess, I could see like a Matthew Savoy plus 3,000 area. But I don't know. I also think, like, I don't know. Was it Duck Dad? No, somebody else. Apologies, Wood. It said they don't think he should be ranked higher than Askarov out in San Jose. The problem is I just don't think Askarov's going to win games in San Jose. I think that's going to hurt him. Like, I just don't see a major jump from the Sharks that, like, he's going to let in goals. And his save percentage and his goals allowed average isn't going to be good enough where you're just going to look at, it's not that good. But it's like, we're not going to be taking into account, well, yeah, but look who he's playing with. And no one's going to be following every single game so close to that. I don't know if I would put him as a I would take a guy playing with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl go higher just because people also just look very, a lot of these people sometimes will just look at the numbers. And then that's all they will go with. And they don't, want to do the full dissecting of why things happen. But it's also like Matt Savoy is in a similar spot to me where like he might get a chance to play in that top 6. He might get a chance to play with Connor or Leon. So he would have that upside. So I could see also like a plus 3,000 where Matt Savoy is. We're coming with that. Big Uke, if he's anywhere close to plus 2,500 and wins it, it might play Alberta out of business with how hard the DGen Den is going to hammer it. LOL. That's why they need to get it up there, just straight up. There's so many people in Edmonton that are just going to hammer Ike Howard when it comes to Calder Trophy. I believe he's on the line now. From 3 Down Nation, Justin Dunk joins us to talk a little bit about Week 6 in the Canadian Football League. Justin, really appreciate the time. Want to start with tonight's Friday night football game. It is the Riders. It is the Stampeders. The Stamps coming off that big win against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. How legit is this defense for the Stampeders?
They're flying around making plays, man. I think if you look at the first 4 games they've played, that they're right up there, if not at the top of the league in terms of how they're playing defense. It's the lowest scoring defense in the CFL right now. You got guys like Derek Moncrief at 32 years old, pick-sixing Zach Collaros, taking it to the house. I think they got some playmakers on that side of the ball on the back end. But really, to me, that defensive line has been the calling card for this defense led by Flo Ormolade off the edge.
What do you make of the Riders coming this? They get Trevor Harris back. Like break down this matchup in your eyes. Like with Calgary having that win against Winnipeg. I was one that I was thinking like even if you're looking at betting lines, you'd see this game a lot closer. It is quite a bit in favor of the Riders. How do you view this game playing out with Trevor Harris back in the lineup for the Riders?
That betting line to me is kind of surprising. You look at the Riders being 5.5 point favorites, which I get the public sentiment. They're the undefeated team coming in here. But for the Stamps, if you take away that rain-filled game, the loss against Ottawa, where you can probably burn the tape for them, this is a really good football team. I think the Riders are going to have to play at a high level, and the Stamps have a better win on their resume already with the way that they dismantled Winnipeg last week. These same Stampeders beat Toronto by more than Saskatchewan did. Right? Saskatchewan needed a last-minute kick return for a touchdown to beat the Argos at home, whereas the Stamps went in there and handled the Argos pretty good with Nick Arbuckle starting at quarterback. So when I look at this matchup, I think that the Riders are being overvalued in terms of the betting line, but this team has shown that they're able to compete week in and week out and deal with different types of matchups. For me, I look at the secondary. You have Tavon Campbell out with a groin injury. He had that game-changing play against the BC Lions, the pick six just before halftime that flipped the whole feel of that game. He's out. Antoine Brooks Jr. makes his first career CFL start. Now, he got an interception against BC, but it's changing what they're doing defensively because the Riders in the secondary hadn't been flipping sides with their cornerbacks and their halfbacks when Campbell was in there. They were just playing left and right, essentially. So there wasn't as much running and a whole bunch of other different iterations of how they could play with Campbell. So Brooks Jr. comes in there. Now they're going to flip sides, so that makes Marcus Sales and Roland Milligan Jr. the true boundary players, and they're going to flip back and forth. So I think that adds a little bit of a layer of complexity for the defense to get reps together, especially in the secondary. And then Corey Mace plays a lot of match coverage, which some people might call a mix of man and zone, let's say, depending on the route concept. And Brooks Jr. hasn't had the reps that Tavon Campbell has with this secondary, playing with the number ones all the way through training camp and the first 4 games with the Riders. So I think I look at some of these aspects and think that the Riders got to be careful here. They're at home. They should probably be a slight favorite, but I don't think they should be, what's it up to now, 5.5 point favorite?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Like I thought this week it would start about like 2.5, so it was a little bit shocking there. Who's got the better running back in this game, do you think? Like AJ Ouellette has had this is the AJ Ouellette the Riders thought that they were signing last year. And I know he battled injuries last year. Dedrick Mills has had a great start to the season himself. Who do you think might have an edge at the running back spot?
I think those guys are both really good. They're playing at a high level to start the season. AJ Ouellette leading the league in rushing yards. Dedrick Mills is second. But for me, I think Ouellette is a better back because I think he has a little bit more of that home run hitting ability. And I think he's more agile in terms of missed tackles. He's certainly powerful, right? Just look at his frame, and he shredded down in the offseason to, I think, have a little bit more burst in his game. And he's shown that. He's had a number of chunk yardage gains. Look at the run in Hamilton, 47-yard touchdown, a career high for him against Toronto. He had a 25-yard touchdown against BC, another decent run for a touchdown in terms of the length. So I would favor Ouellette in terms of looking at those guys side by side, but Mills has played very well as a physical running back that I think presents some challenges to this Riders defense that Corey Mace usually has the best run defense, but James Butler went for over 100 against the Riders the last time Saskatchewan lined up before their bye week. And I think Mills is a much more physical back than Butler that presents those challenges.
We're with Justin Dunk of 3 Down Nation. On Saturday, tomorrow, it is Ottawa. It is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Are we closing in on a must-win time here for the Ottawa Red Blacks?
I think so, man. Like, this team was a sexy Grey Cup pick, not by me, but by a lot of people in the media around the Canadian Football League. And I get that Drew Brown had an injury in that first game, that they haven't had him back. I don't even think he's playing it close to 100%, when he came back for that game in Edmonton. But you got to start getting some wins here in terms of, you look at that division, especially with Montreal and with what Hamilton are doing. Like, this is a big time early season divisional game. I hate the phrase the season doesn't start until Labor Day, because a win counts as 2 points, whether it's July or September, October. It's all the same. So I think Ottawa needs to find some mojo here. And I think you look at Hamilton on the other side, and this offense is chugging along at full gear early in the season. And for the Tiger Cats, this is an anomaly for them to have multiple wins this early in the season. It usually doesn't happen. But Levi Mitchell looks great. Obviously, Kenny Lawler had a massive game the last time out. So I think for the Red Blacks, it starts there. You need to be able to slow down Kenny Lawler and force some of those other options to beat you. Even though Tim White has played at an all-star level in this league, I think you have to slow Kenny Lawler down. But I got questions about the Ottawa Red Blacks in the secondary. So I think there could be some explosive plays here from the Ticats.
For the Tigers, do you think they could compete with the Owls should when Davis Alexander's healthy, obviously, here for the top spot in the East? Are they, is this just a slow start to the season? And I shouldn't say so. They're 2-2. But they needed to just get their season going, and now they're going. Do you think they can compete with Montreal, or is it Montreal's division, then Hamilton right now?
I think it's possible, but we need to see it. To me, the Tiger Cats on offense look really good, right? But the defense, I have some question marks about. They do have some veterans on the back end, like Jamal Peters and Deshaun Amos. Stavros Katsantonis is playing at an extremely high level. I think he's probably the leader right now to be the CFL All-Star safety. There's still a lot of season to go, but he's played at a great level. But that defensive line, I think, would need to play better to be challenging Montreal for that top spot in the East. I'm not saying they can't. Yeah. It's just that's where I think Hamilton needs to get better, especially that front seven. A guy like Devin Verisuk, who's the rookie Canadian that had a pick 6 in his first career CFL start, is going to have a learning curve, right? There's going to be ups and downs. He's going to have to ride the wave. It seems like he's got some potential. But to me, for the Ticats to be able to legitimately compete with the Alouettes for top spot in the East, the defense has to play better.
Edmonton, BC on Sunday. You said you don't like the phrase, the season doesn't begin till Labor Day because these wins matter. This is a question I've been pondering this week. The Edmonton Elks obviously only have one win. The BC Lions, they're already only 1-3 against the division. They've lost the season series to the Bombers. They've lost the game to the Riders. If they lose on Sunday to the Elks, the season series, it's a 3-game series between them. It's now 1-1, and they drop to 1-4 in the division. Who might need this win more? Is it the Elks or is it the Lions?
When you laid it out like that, it would seem like the Lions need it. And I felt like the Lions escaped with a win there in Montreal, even though there was that whole brawl and the situation that went down there. But like that was one that I don't think a lot of people were expecting BC to get. So, I tend to lean towards BC needing it more. But also, if you're Edmonton, you got a win last week. You can create some momentum here with Mark Killam getting his first win as a head coach. And I really like what I've seen out of Trey Ford in terms of a progression within Jordan Maximic's offense this season. A lot of people wanted to see Ford come out and light it up right away to start the season. I just didn't think that that was reasonable because Ford is in a new offense, right? He's got new skill guys around him, but specifically him and Maximic are learning how to work together, and then Maximic's learning how to use him to the best of his ability. So I really like what I've seen from Trey Ford. I think, to answer your question, BC needs this more, but if Edmonton can get it, it can create some momentum for them.
For Trey, what have you seen from him that he's improved most that maybe from not even just the start of this season, but maybe from years past with Trey Ford?
What's really impressed me the most this year, especially the last couple of games, is him standing in the pocket, making reads, delivering the football to different levels, and not leaving early. Some people might say he's leaving the pocket because he's seeing ghosts. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I just think he's gotten more comfortable in there, and that comes with comfort within the offense to just not have to think and go through your read progression and know, okay, if I get a free blitzer, I'm either finding my check down guy or I'm escaping and trying to make one of those wild plays that we've seen Trey Ford make. So I'm not saying he shouldn't be doing those things outside the pocket that we've seen from him, but you need to do it only when it's absolutely required. The best Trey Ford can play is when he is beating teams from the pocket and then using his dynamic, elite athletic ability when it's relied upon. And there's going to be times in every football game where there's a free rusher coming at him. And there's a couple different choices there. Does he get rid of the football, in rhythm, read the blitz, find his hot route, or get it down the field if it's cover zero in man-to-man coverage? Or does he escape the pocket, give his receivers a little bit of extra time to open up in the scramble drill and hit a big play down the field? So I really like what Trey Ford has been doing in the pocket. It looks like he's much more comfortable in there. And my guess would be that's because he's getting much more comfortable in Jordan Maximic's scheme.
Final question for you, Justin. For the BC Lions, obviously that big week 1 win over the Elks really haven't looked that good since. Now, Nathan Rourke has been injured there, but what have you seen in the Lions? Where do they need to improve the most? Or does this somewhat just come down to the health of the quarterback?
Well, I don't think, similar to Drew Brown earlier, that Nathan Rourke is playing at 100% with this, core muscle injury that he's dealing with. I think he's gutting it out. But I thought the Lions showed some intriguing upside, let's call it, against Saskatchewan before Jeremiah Masoli threw that ill-advised pick six. Like, the Lions were about to at least kick a field goal, potentially go in for a touchdown, and have some momentum at halftime against a team that was not looking, I don't think, so great in the Riders in the first half there. So I have a hard time, thinking when I look at the BC roster that there's enough talent there to legitimately be competitive. But they showed in week 1, as you referenced, that if Nathan Rourke's playing at a high level and the offense is chugging along, that can cover up for some of the deficiencies, I think, that are on this roster. So I think if Rourke is playing at a high level, despite him being hurt, playing through this injury, that there's a chance for the BC Lions to compete in the West. And they do have some playmakers on defense. Like, I think a guy like Gary Peters, who has shown to be a lockdown corner in recent years, needs to play better for this team to have a chance to get back in the mix, right? I think we need to see Matthew Betts get home a little more often. I don't want to fixate on sacks because I think hurries and knockdowns can disrupt the passer as well. But I think the Lions would like to see their front take over some games a little bit more to help out the offense.
Justin, really appreciate the time. Really appreciate the insight. Enjoy week 6 in the Canadian Football League, and we'll talk down the line here.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
There's Justin Dunk. 3 Down Nation. Go check his stuff out with John Hodge, JC Abbott. I was about to say John Abbott, mixing the two guys together. That's why there was the pause there. JC Abbott and John Hodge and all the great stuff that is done there. 3 Down Nation. Andrew from the Turf District, I know, writes on the Edmonton Elks for 3 Down Nation. So go check their stuff out. They're great, just independent coverage of the Canadian Football League, and Justin leading the way, doing some great stuff there. It was interesting because twice now I've asked that question of who might need this win more, BC or Edmonton. And I asked it to Dave Naylor today of TSN, and I asked it to Justin Dunk. And it was fascinating that after I broke it down, both kind of leaned the BC way. Like, obviously, if the Edmonton Elks lose, it's not good. It's not, they're not in a better spot, but just those divisional games that you have. Like, if the Elks fall to the Lions, that's just one season series that is done. Yeah, you're behind Winnipeg, but you get Winnipeg 3 times, or is it just twice this year? So you could recover from that one still, but you haven't played Saskatchewan, you haven't played Calgary yet. Whereas if the BC Lions, you could be down in 2 season series in the West and tied in the other one. And that's why BC, I feel, is in just this spot where you're halfway done your divisional games after Sunday. That's, you don't want to be 1-4 in that situation, because now you have to just go win those rest of those West games if you want to go get a playoff spot or get closer into one of those. Bronco Nick, John Abbott, watching Too Much Young and the Restless, Matty. That's John Abbott. I didn't even think of John Abbott from that. I guess from back in the day when I would watch Young and the Restless. That was sitting in my mind, John Abbott. Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game on Sunday. It'd be a huge win for the Edmonton Elks. If you're going to Saskatchewan after 2 wins, I like the Elks also going to Saskatchewan and getting a victory at this very moment in time. It has nothing to do against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but we have seen Trey Ford go into Regina twice and pull out 2 big victories, including just last season. Sometimes we've seen, Leon Draisaitl plays well against the Nashville Predators. There's just those players that play well against certain teams. Right now, early, I feel like Trey Ford is a guy that plays well against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They shouldn't be favorites going into it. I'll start by saying that. But that'll be a game, next week is a bye for the Elks. So what is the schedule? That game's the 25th. I'll be very fascinated on July 21st and 22nd to see what the lines are for the Edmonton Elks that week, because I feel like there might be a chance to take advantage of early lines that week looking at the Edmonton Elks. I could see the line being very poor that week, and it's going to shift closer as the week goes on, and that's going to be the chance to take advantage of the Edmonton Elks, building some sort of parlay that week. I don't know what else is going on in the CFL that week. I can't believe I'm already looking ahead 2 weeks for building a parlay. Yeah, Montreal, Calgary, probably want to stay away from that one. Winnipeg, Toronto, Hamilton, BC. Right now, I'm seeing an Elks Bombers parlay for that week on the Monday or the Tuesday, piring up Edmonton and Winnipeg. They're still working on our special, our lock shop parlay. I really want this up. I really hope we can get this done. For those that missed the start of the lock shop, this all starting with Dustin Nielson. The Elks over 112.5 team rushing yards. The Edmonton Elks to cover 2.5. And over 3.5 field goals in the game combined between the Lions and the Elks. We're going to see if Play Alberta can get that up for the lock shop parlay for today. Should look at some baseball lines here. Baseball's the one sport I don't know if I've ever actually wagered on baseball. I just find baseball to be rather tough. Like, you look at a series, the Jays go out to Sacramento to take on the Athletics, and you're just looking at the idea like it's, okay, the Jays are going to win 2 out of 3 games. Okay, where's that loss come, though? Like, that's the hard part for me. The Jays right now, minus 182. Money line, the run line, they're minus 1.5. So that's at minus 119. Can you bet on like series? See, these are the things I don't know about baseball. I haven't even looked. Like, can you bet on the series and how the series is going to go? Dodgers underdogs? Have I not been paying attention to the Dodgers? Why are the Dodgers plus 106 out in San Francisco against the Giants? The Dodgers, they've lost 6 straight. They're 4-6, taking on the Giants, who are 5 games back of the Dodgers. They're 6 and see. So the Dodgers have lost 6 straight, but the Giants are 6-4 in their last 10. Dodgers plus 106. Who's going to the mound for the Dodgers? I got a $50 free sports bet from Play Alberta. I used the promo code EST Sports, and I got that $50 free sports bet. The promo code's, by the way, EST Sports. Deposit 20, get 50 free bet. YEG 50, deposit 5, get a $50 free bet. I don't mind throwing it on the Dodgers straight up tonight. Like, they go lose 3. They get swept by Houston. They go get swept by Milwaukee. Ohtani's up tomorrow, though. Do I wait till tomorrow? But then I probably won't be plus money, will it? Dustin May goes to the mound. He's 5-5 this year. 4.52 ERA. Those aren't good numbers. Going up against Logan Webb. He's 8-6 this year. Much better ERA. Yeah, maybe I should stay away from the Dodgers. I think maybe tomorrow's a day to look. If the Dodgers are plus money tomorrow, and Ohtani's heading to the mound, I think my Play Alberta free 50 is going to have to go on the Dodgers. Maverick saying baseball's a crapshoot. And also, do it, Maddie. Yeah, but Cam Moon is a big Dodgers fan. I should ask him his feels. Like, the Giants are a good baseball team. Big U, plus 450 for the Jays and Dodgers to both win by 2. So you're going straight run line there. Right? Or what do you both win by 2? Oh, you've changed the Dodgers line on that one. Is that what you... So the run line, you've gone Dodgers minus 1.5. Oh, wow. Oh, I ain't touching that one. It was a boosted special. Oh, okay. I don't think I could do that. I'm also just one of those, like, apologies to all of you out there. I will start by giving you this apologies. I am a New York Yankee fan, though. I don't give a damn about the Blue Jays. I like when they lose. Just had to get that out there. Oh, this Dodgers number. Like, how often do you legit get to see the Dodgers at plus money? Oh, Big Uke, you're going to love the silliest parlay today. For those that don't know, this actually started when I was on the show. I was here when I saw it happen. It was Big Maple in the Nasty Chat a few weeks ago saying on a Friday the DGen Den should build a silly parlay for the weekend that's just really out there. So I'm fascinated now to see what's going on. Get in. If you're not on the Edmonton Sports Talk Discord, go to edmontonsportstalk.com. At the very top, there's 3 icons. You see a Twitter icon. I've never changed it to X. It's staying at the bird. You see a Discord icon, and you see the YouTube icon. If you go to Discord, you could join the EST Discord. In there is the DGen Den. And they come up with a lot of things. You can see what they're doing. I know Northside Sandwich and Big Uke and Duck Dad and Big Maple and a bunch of them are. Spency 5 Cents, I believe, is in there a lot. They're sharing, they're passing along the info, and then they also build the grandest parlay each day, as well as then on the Friday, the silliest gooses. The silliest goose parlay. So I'll wait to see what they have to say when they get that one done. Still no word yet on our lock shop parlay. So hopefully, we got like 7 minutes left on the show. I want that one up there. I think I'm staying away from the Dodgers. I'm going to make that decision right now. I'm going to stay away from the Dodgers. Although if you did Dodgers Blue Jays straight up, take away the run line. It's plus 219 still. It's plus 219. That's not bad. I ain't even going to try to be Jay and get into the Calgary Stampede. I'm just going to say that one right now. I ain't going into that one at all because I have no idea what I am talking about when it comes to that. Just a reminder, coming up in 14 minutes time, it will be the oil stream. We've got Gager, we've got Hernan. They're going to do the oil stream. Then they're going to transition into their other show, EST Afternoons from 1 until 3. We got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, but no Jay today. It is Reed and Zach to come from 3 until 6. We'll have the Elks Call on tonight at 6 o'clock. Dave Jameson, a guest on the Elks Call. We'll air that on our audio streams. And then the Edmonton Riverhawks, they are out. Where did they head off to? Because they had the Bells yesterday, finished up a series against the Bells. Today, that's not helpful. It's PAL. Who's PAL? What's PAL on the schedule? Port Angeles Lefties. Thank you, Trev. Yeah, that PAL does not really help that easily on something like that. You got the Port Angeles Lefties. They are taking on the Riverhawks tonight. That gets going to 7:35 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You'll be able to catch that game on our audio streams. Thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and watching on YouTube or listening on podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I just want this parlay to go up. Yeah, thank you everyone for pointing out Port Angeles. It's just not a helpful one when you're looking at those miniature schedules type things. So then there was no legend at the bottom, but the Edmonton Riverhawks, actually, I haven't done a check in a while. Their standings. Because the Riverhawks had a really good, playoff ball last year came to Remax Field and it was sold out down at Remax. The Edmonton Riverhawks, in the first half of the season, they were 14-12. They finished 3.5 back of the Bells for the top spot in the North Division. Right now, they're 4-2. Man, Victoria Harbour Cats off to a good start, but they are the Riverhawks are 2.5 back of the Harbour Cats for the top spot. When you're looking at the overall spot, I want to say top 4 make the playoffs. Bells are top spot. Victoria's there as well, but the Riverhawks are sitting in a playoff spot. So this is a good baseball team. They're a good ball team that Jake Lanferman has built down at Remax Field. They played relatively well against the Bells the last couple of days in this series. Picked up a win there. So this is going to be a tight summer here. There's not a lot of time left if you want to go check out Riverhawks baseball down at Remax Field. They have 2 games next weekend. So next week's their all-star break. The next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they are home to Kamloops. They hit the road for a week. They're back for a week. They have 6 games at home before they hit the road for 3, and then it's playoffs. So the Edmonton Riverhawks only have 9 more home games left the rest of this summer. So if you haven't gotten out to much Riverhawks ball and you want to, not a lot of opportunities still left on the table. So you're going to want to keep your eye on the schedule if you want to head down to Remax Field as we get into that full swing of summer here in Edmonton, where you've got street performers, you've got Fringe is later on, you got Taste of Edmonton, Heritage Days, K-Days gets going really soon here. I believe that's next weekend. K-Days gets going, actually. Lots happening. The Edmonton Elks will be around. The Stingers, they're out of town until August, but they're back in August. They've got a bunch of games there before the playoffs. So lots to do here in the city this summer. And if you're heading to the Elks game, be sure to hit the tailgate this Sunday, 3 hours before the game. It gets going. EST will be there probably. They're set up about 2.5 hours before the game or so with some chips and waters. The Turf District, I know, has pierogies. I don't know what the Elks Herd is doing, and obviously you can just head to the Spirit of Edmonton and go check up with Jerry Haraxi, as they will have sluice juice available for you right there. I'm going to have to throw this one to Duck Dad. Because like Duck Dad would be the only other person I think that's listening that would have any good call on this. But you got FIFA Club World Cup coming to a close. Chelsea, PSG, that gets going Sunday, 1 o'clock, out at East Rutherford. I don't know if Duck Dad's still in the nasty chat. What are you looking at when it comes to, are you looking at anything Club World Cup? PSG just won the Champions League overall. They lose, Mbappe leaves. Messi's no longer there. Neymar's no longer there. They start winning some titles. They will start winning some championships. Do they pull in a Club World Cup as well this year as they take on Chelsea out in East Rutherford, New Jersey? Did you yell yes as you were coming in, Trev?
Oh,
was that just a general yes
Benny.
for other things?
That was Benny.
Oh, okay.
He said something and I already forgot what he said.
So it was to him.
But I said yes to him.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure, because I was going to be like, you had a thought on PSG and Chelsea?
No.
I was going to be a little surprised by that.
No, I don't know my soccer. Although I did see some things. Apparently, yeah. What's going on with Erling Haaland? Is he still legit?
I would think so.
I thought he was like the next coming of Messi. And then, like, his first season, he was unreal and he was living up to the hype. But since then, he's just fallen. Like, drastically.
Well,
or was that might have been killing Mbappe?
Well, Mbappe
as well.
went to Real Madrid and didn't exactly. He was still like, I think, led the league on goals.
It was kind of underwhelming, though.
But it was for him. I think maybe some people went a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think it was the same for Haaland. I'm just trying to see if I can find his goal total. Like, it wasn't a year where he was just so dominant last year that it was like, well, how do you stop this guy? Like it was in a few years ago. But like last year, he scored 34 goals in 48 games. He scored 34 goals.
Which is
like, but it's in his first year with Man City, he scored 52 goals in 53 games.
Right.
So that's just the difference there. But like, he's still really legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy you told me this because I was confused. And I was always wanting to ask LT, but then he leaves and he doesn't say goodbye, so I can never ask him.
You should just work at the door.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to. Nasty's give a huge shout out to Maddie. He's just been crushing it all morning long. 5 hours. He's been on air. Not even Dusty does that.
Darn. Unfortunately, they say there are no available odds for these two combinations. Over 3.5 field goals or the Elks over 112 team rushing yards. We'll have to try to come up with something else. We tried, Lock Shoppers. We tried. We'll have to try that again another time. Wonder if, I'll try to see if we can get Blanchard points. I'll see if we can get that one. Or like field goals made at the least. I'll just try to see if we get maybe like over 1.5 field goals by Blanchard. Maybe we'll see if we get like Trey. I'm going to take, I'll put Rankin over like, if we set 100 yard or 112, I would say Rankin was probably looking at 75 or so. So I want to put it over at 70. Maybe that's what I'll try to do. We'll see what I can get done. Coming up next, it is the Oil Stream. Hernan, Gager. We got the Reed Wilkins Show also later today. Well, in between there, it is EST Afternoons with Hernan and Gager. Thank you, Trev, as well, for all your good work today on the morning show through here at Lock Shop. That hat looks good on you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a nice hat. I'm dibsing it, by the way.
That comes from Clink, who is our beer of the week today. Thank you to all you, the Lock Shoppers, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Justin Dunk as well for joining us on the Lock Shop today. As I said, up next, it is the Oil Stream here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Presented by Play Alberta. Again, those promo codes, EST Sports and YAG50. Thank you once again. Enjoy your weekend. I will talk with you Sunday, Green and Gold kickoff show, 4 o'clock. Myself, Jay Milne, will get you set for Elks and Lions. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Oil Stream in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.